friends. Happy Wednesday. Here we are. And we know it's Wednesday because it says Wednesday up here and it's yellow. So you all know how to do this page. You've done it twice now. So I'm not going to help you do this. This one has long vowels and fix a sentence in opposite spots. And you're reading a chart. Just take your time. I know you'll get it. I'm going to write my name up here. And right here, it says, a statement is a sentence that tells something. A statement begins with a capital letter and ends with a period. Read each pair of statements. Circle the statement that is correct. So one of these is right and one of them is wrong. One of them is correct and one of them is incorrect, which means it's another way to say right and wrong. So which one is it? She runs and jumps. We jump too. This one has a capital and a period. This one has a capital, but it's missing the period. It says circle the statement that is correct. This one is the correct one because it has a capital and period. You can do the rest of those by yourself. The next page has a reading passage. You've probably noticed so far that every day has a reading passage. This one says, pushing yourself to do your best. And I'm going to skip over the story. And I'm going to go right down here where it tells us what to do. It says, circle the characters. The characters are who the story is about. It says, draw a box around the setting. Setting means where the story happens. And then it says, underline the problem. So then we're going to put a line under the problem. And I'm going to use my highlighter for this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read this. And as we go along, we can do these things. If we forget to do it, we'll go back and read it afterwards. There's one more question down here. It says, how do you know that Mark pushed himself to do his best in the school spelling bee? So I'm going to keep that in mind as I read so that I can answer that question when I'm done reading. So how do I know that Mark pushed himself to do his best in the school spelling bee? All right, characters, setting, and problem. Pushing yourself to do your best. It was the day of the school spelling bee. Mark had been waiting for this day for weeks, but as he sat on the stage, his stomach was filled with butterflies. Mark heard the announcer call his name, and he slowly walked up to the microphone. His hands were sweating, and his knees felt shaky. He remembered what his mom said to him that morning. Just do your best, honey. You've studied so hard, and I'm so proud of you. Mark had been practicing his spelling words every night for weeks. Even when he was so tired and wanted to quit, he kept pushing himself. He had studied as much as he could, and as the announcer gave him his word, he smiled. His hard work had paid off. All right, so I'm going to right now go and circle the characters. I'm going to go on a character hunt. School spelling bee. Mark, he's a character because he is one of the people in the story. Waiting for this day for weeks, sat on the stage, his stomach was filled with butterflies. Mark heard the announcer. The announcer is another character in this story. It is somebody who is doing something. The announcer called his name and he slowly walked up to the microphone. His hands were sweating and his knees felt shaky. He remembered what his mom, there's another person, another character in the story, said to him that morning. Just do your best, honey. You've studied so hard and I'm so proud of you. Okay, we've already circled Mark, so I don't have to circle that again. Even when he was so tired, he wanted to quit. He kept pushing himself. He had studied as much as he could. And the announcer, should I circle that? Nope, I've already circled the announcer. So there are 3 characters in here. Now I'm going to color that little dot in because I'm finished with the character part. Now it says the setting. Where is this story happening? Where or when? So when, it was the day of the school spelling bee. Oh my goodness, they say it in the very first sentence. This is when and where this is happening. The school spelling bee, the day of the school spelling bee. And he's on the stage. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that little box on there too. Okay, so I've got the setting boxed. Now, underline the problem. So what's the problem in here? Is the problem that it's the day of the school spelling bee? Nope, that's when and where it's happening. Is the problem that he doesn't know his words? Nope, that's not the problem. What's the problem? The problem is he is nervous. His stomach is filled with butterflies. Okay, so the problem is that he is nervous. Okay, so I can color that in now. How do you know that Mark pushed himself to do his best in the school spelling bee? All right, this is something that you're gonna have to think about. We read the story. How do we know he's going to do his best? And I also have to remind you that there is more than one line, which means I'm expecting you to write a sentence or even 2 or 3 sentences. I know that Mark pushed himself because Mark had been practicing his spelling word every night for weeks. Period. Okay, even when he was tired and wanted to quit, he kept pushing himself. They said it right there. Even when he was tired and quit. He was tired, but he still practiced. All right. Now I'm going to look at this, make sure I have my capital and my period. Capital and period. All right, I've got it. The next part is math, and you can do that on your own. And this, of course, is the other video that I showed you on Seesaw.